So word on the street is that Biggie's mother, Valetta Wallace, is shocked by what she watched in that hotel tape of Diddy and Cassie. But that's not all. The event has also made her question other things Diddy may have gotten away with, including the death of her son Biggie. By the way, we're not just talking about Diddy's involvement in Biggie's killing. His name has resurfaced in reference to Tupac's death.
Christopher was not only a musician, an artist. Christopher was a son, was a grandson, was a nephew. He was a good friend. And people need to see that part of him that nobody else.
If there's anything we've learned from the lawsuits made against Diddy, it's that he likes to brag about the things he's gotten away with. And if nothing else, his own words might be the ones that get him in the most trouble.
The feds are so deep and involved in this that Diddy just might be called up on that Tupac shit once they go through the money trap.
Okay, so Biggie's mom, Veda, has admitted that she was not happy with way Biggie was being treated when he signed to Diddy's company. She even talked about it in her 2005 book, Huge. Valetta Wallace remembers her son, Christopher, and based on what she said, she plainly didn't feel that Diddy had her kid's best interests at heart.
He said, I'm a businessman. I'm about making money, but something gotta change. I don't give a if Pac gotta die, Big gotta die, or Suge Knight go to jail.
The truth is, Christopher accepted the illusion of a friend and mentor for about $225,000. That was a lot of money for Christopher back then as a 19-year-old. He had never seen that much money at one time in his life. It was enough money to make my son believe that Puffy was ready to do anything for him. It was enough to buy blind love and loyalty. Unfortunately, signing with Diddy is also what led to Biggie's death, and people have believed for decades that Diddy was involved. And when I say people, I'm including Biggie's family, get this. Veda has previously said that she and LAPD detectives who investigated the case know who is responsible for her son's death, but a conspiracy prevents the case from ever being solved. She said she knows that the LAPD conducted their investigation and found out what happened, but they just refused to move forward. And she doesn't know why to date that they had been arrested, who was involved according to Valetta. She said it seemed to her that it was one giant conspiracy and someone was definitely being protected somewhere down the line. Tell me you don't see how Valetta's words have Diddy written all over them. In fact, when she was talking about agreeing to be part of the Project City of Lies, which centers around the corruption involved in suppressing the investigation, Veda actually opened up about the corruption involved and said, "I have strong hope that I don't care that it takes 40 years for the truth, just for someone to be held accountable for what they did. Those in high positions try to put the case on the shelf and not let the truth come out. They don't want to expose these police officers for the crooks. They are, all they wanted to do was save their retirement. They didn't want to ruffle their feathers. They didn't want people from the East Coast to come over. They did everything they could." Now, allegedly, Biggie's mother believes that Diddy may have been involved in the death of her son, and it has everything to do with money. First of all, remember when Diddy started giving publishing rights back to his former artists, including Biggie? Well, there were reports that those publishing rights are worth nothing, and Diddy was giving them back after milking all that he could from his former artists. As we all know, Diddy made even more money from Biggie after he died than he did when he was alive. But the publishing rights he was talking about that he gave back to the family were apparently worth nothing. And Miss Valetta was not happy. She allegedly made it clear that the move by Diddy would not make him innocent in her eyes, especially after all the stories of how he may have been involved with Biggie's death. And now that she has seen Cassie's tape, she knows exactly what Diddy is capable of. Okay, you guys, when it comes to Diddy's involvement with Biggie's death, there's been a lot that has come up already, like that ex-bodyguard Uncle Ron, who previously claimed that Diddy offered him money to take out Biggie and...
I was offered $30,000 to perform a hit on Biggie Smalls. March 1st of 1997, I was approached by Diddy to perform a hit on one of his artists. Finding out that he wanted all the rights to all his catalogs.
Then there's Gene Deal, who said that Biggie planned to quit Bad Boy Records for a better deal elsewhere, valued more than $60 million.
So he showed me, I said, you about to get that money? He said, yeah, look at this. It had Charlie Baltimore, Cameron, Little C's, Little Kim, Junior Mafia, Tracy, I don't know, Tracy Murray,
Tracy Lee.
Tracy Lee, and the Commission. And I think the contract was for so many years for like 62 million, it comes out to like $62 million.
In fact, Gene Deal stated that whatever happened to Biggie was definitely an inside job.
It was somebody in our crew that wanted them to know that Big was in that vehicle.
We've also had a few celebrities hint here and there that Diddy may have been involved with Biggie's death. For instance, Mace released a song titled Oracle 2 Standing on Bodies, talking about how Diddy used the death of Biggie Smalls as a marketing ploy and for not properly compensating Biggie's mother. 50 Cent has also said multiple times that Diddy was involved in the deaths of Biggie and Tupac, for instance, in his song Hip Hop 50 Cent raps, "Whoosh, Biggie Smalls, if we don't get him, they're going to get us all, man. Puffy knows who hit that man. He scared them boys from the west side going to break him off," speaking of Tupac. There has also been the speculation that Diddy was the one who put a $1 million hit on both Tupac Shakur and Suge Knight, following the highly publicized rap beef involving himself and Biggie. And he hired Crips member Dwayne Keith Davis, aka Keith D, to carry out the hit. But Tupac was allegedly taken out by Crips gang member Orlando Anderson. Even though the original hit was supposed to be carried out by Keith D, the plans were changed at the last minute after they unexpectedly pulled up on the wrong side of Tupac's vehicle. So Keith D's nephew carried out. One issue with this case has been that the person who was allegedly given the money to give to Keith D was Eric Von Zip. And because he never delivered the money and died, there's nothing substantial linking Diddy to Tupac's death. But based on what Gone Deal recently revealed, if the feds follow the money closely, Tupac's death will undoubtedly be linked to Diddy. Tupac's brother, Moper Shakur, certainly thinks that everyone Keith D has ever mentioned in relation...
I don't have to do anything. This individual mentioned dude's name, okay? Law enforcement has a job to do. Will they do it? It does feel like, Pac is being vindicated because, back in them days when things were going down, everybody thought he was crazy. He may not have expressed it properly, but that don't mean he was wrong. You dig?
Right.
Yeah, so we'll see.
And then he was asked specifically about Diddy, and he was like, especially Diddy, obviously the reason why nobody wanted to touch Diddy is because of the power he had. But now that the power is being stripped away, there's more boldness in calling him out for possibly having a hand in both Tupac and Biggie's death. And you know what? Aside from putting the person who was responsible for Biggie's death behind bars, Valetta also hopes that those responsible for suppressing, I hope and pray that the truth will reveal them as individuals. Russell died exposing them. He was a man of his word. His wife claimed he died of a broken heart because he didn't see justice. All he saw was corruption, pure lies. Everything was covered. As long as I have life, there is hope. I will never give up, and I hope that when I am no longer in this world, my friends and family will continue the struggle. There is always hope. Child, if Diddy had anything to do with the unal living of Tupac and Biggie, nobody is going to protect him now. Maybe these families may finally receive closure, and if we're lucky, we could even get some professionals now that we know Diddy was recording most of the stuff.